in regards to the title Phantom Anthem, I started to think about the Apostle Paul writing these letters in jail, thinking there's no way that any of this work that I'm doing is going to be of any significance. And here we are 2,000 years later, and they're in the Bible. And I started to think about people I meet at our shows or just anyone you see on the streets. Sure, you can see a little bit about who they are just by looking at them, but the identity of that person, the passion of that person, what makes that person tick is subtle. It's hidden. And thus the word phantom. The anthem is their message or their identity or their passion. Everyone has something that they follow. You meet someone on the street, everyone's on a certain path going somewhere. And you can't always see what's driving them to go there, but I felt like it was important to note that everybody has this song they're singing, this identity that they have, this song that they hear that is driving them to do everything that they do. And Phantom Anthem is that title that encompasses that idea. We don't let the new guys write the song. No, just kidding. We have a very democratic band. So if someone comes up with an idea and it's a good idea, better than the other ideas, it's what sticks. So if I write a couple sets of lyrics and everybody likes them, then those become lyrics that are on the album. I write all the drums. JB writes all the guitars. We work together constructing the song itself. And then just like a layer cake, the last thing to be added are the vocals. So that would be like the icing on top. That comes last after everything's done. And Brent and myself and Jake are the predominant lyrical contributors to the band. So we take the best lyrics and we say, here we go. And let's attach them, take a set of lyrics and attach it to a song. But typically speaking, the lyrics that we write are based on our personal experiences as people. When we started the band in 2003, we were pretty different people than we are now, 15 years later. I was a pretty different drummer than I am now. You put in a lot of hours practicing drums. You put in a lot of hours living life between then and now. And so our lyrical content is about that. And I really appreciate the fact that our fans care about our lyrics because it's a really important part of our message. Even though you can't understand everything Jake's saying, if you read the lyrics, it's an integral part of our band and why we're out here doing this. I spend up to 6 months before we record writing and practicing the drum parts. And I know that might be kind of bizarre or seem over the top, but I don't feel comfortable going into the studio. In most cases, I don't feel comfortable going into the studio unless I have all of the drums written. So in other words, there are drummers who write everything and they record what they have written so they can play the whole song through. Or there are drummers who sort of improvise each part. I like to have a constructed structure the whole way through for what I want to have in the song. And so, all those foot patterns took time. But over time, I created it, I memorized it, and I applied it. So that's the 3-step method I use. Creation, I write the part. Memorization, I remember the part or I build it into my muscle memory. And then the application is taking what I've memorized and putting it on the kit. So I'm going to use the ride bell, I'm going to use the hi-hat, I'm going to use tom 1. And so when I get to the studio, my goal is to just kind of sit back and let that muscle memory take over. But the amount of man hours put in just to get those patterns down is scary to think about. But in all reality, all metal records that I've done in the last 10 years since Messengers have been beat detected. So I'm playing these patterns, but they aren't as perfect as you hear them on the record. They're doctored, they're fixed up, they're made perfect on the grid because the standard in metal is so high that you need to compare your drum take that's raw, not beat detected or quantized, to one that is. And when you do that and you compare your raw drum sounds to one that is sampled and has compression on it and all all the little tricks to make drums sound awesome on a metal record, it doesn't stand up. And sure, you can get by with certain parts. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but in my experience the last 10 years, I have preferred just going with, okay, producer, I want you to go in there and do whatever you need to do to make this record sound great. And in most cases, the end product is, yeah, those takes were good. You did 3 or 4 takes the whole song. Let's take the best parts of each take, and then we're going to take that good piece we have and make it great by perfecting it with a computer. And what that does is, in some people's minds, they say, oh, well, that's cheating, or oh, you didn't actually play that. But the bottom line is, you just set a standard that's up here, and if you're ever going to play live, have fun, right? Because now the audience or the fan is used to hearing a song this way, and you're going to have to be on that level if you want to impress people and to have your fans enjoy the show the way they're used to hearing the songs. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of muscle memory. But when you get up on stage, your goal is to just sit back and let the muscle memory take over.